As the Chancellor spoke to MPs in London, protesters at the disability welfare cuts announced last week made their feelings heard in Swansea.
I feel it's our right to live in society the same as everybody else. And without the disabled funding from the government, how can we do that? We'll be stuck at home, bored, nothing to do.
We're your friends, we're your family, and we're your neighbours. And these are attacks on us as a community, but they're also attacks on everybody because anyone can become disabled at any point in their life.
The reforms affect working age health-related benefits, which the UK government says are rising unsustainably. And the cuts are forecast to save £4.8 billion. But the Chancellor says it's not just about saving money.
The Labour Party is the party of work. We believe that if you can work, you should work. But if you can't work, you should be properly supported.
Here's a reminder of the planned changes. Claimants of the main disability benefit, the Personal Independence Payment or PIP, will see eligibility for the daily living allowance restricted to those who score 4 points or more in a single category, with those losing entitlement losing on average £4,500 a year. A prospect that leaves today's protesters worried about how those affected will manage.
We're not talking about people rolling around in fancy cars, living high lives. We're talking about people trying to, worry about, making sure they shop in Lidl because it's cheapest and how much they've got to spend to feed their kids. Simple as that.
People currently on the health element of universal credit will have it frozen at £97 a week from April 2026 until the end of the decade, losing an average of £500 a year. For new claimants, it will be halved to £50 per week and frozen at that rate until 2029 to 30. But the Universal Credit Standard Allowance will be increased above inflation, reaching £106 per week in 2029 to 30 for a single person over the age of 25. So households that just claim the standard allowance of universal credit will see an average gain of £265 a year.
Well, I think these changes are going to have a significant impact in Wales. We know that there's far more people claiming PIP, claiming disability benefits in Wales. So any changes to these benefits is going to disproportionately hit our communities and hit families hard who are going to struggle to afford a lot of their essential living costs.
But the impact assessments from the UK government do say that if you can get people back into work, then that radically improves their income in a way that reliance on benefits simply can't do.
There's no doubt getting people into work will make a difference to people's lives. But, if we look at the government made further tweaks this week to what they announced last week because the numbers didn't add up, that really does bring to the fore that the real aim here was to save money rather than to generally reform the system.
Rachel Reeves was left looking for savings after low economic growth and increased borrowing costs ate away the wiggle room she'd left herself to meet her self-imposed rules on debt and spending. She blamed a rapidly changing world that requires a big increase in defence spending that she told MPs would benefit companies based in North and South Wales.
We will spend a minimum of 10% of the Ministry of Defence's equipment budget on new novel technologies, including drones and AI-enabled technology, driving forward advanced manufacturing production in places like Glasgow, in Derby and in Newport.
As promised, there were no extra tax rises announced today, but with defence spending set to increase further in the years to come, there may be some difficult decisions on how that will be paid for.